Hello, I am Laura Meyer, and we are here at the beautiful Cannes Lions Festival. And today we are recording Envision Horizons on the Horizons podcast. And I'm here with the amazing Julie Haleluk.
You got it.
Okay. Who's the global head of growth of Amazon Shoppable Video. Wonderful to have you.
Thank you so much for having me. There's no better place for us to be able to chat. I mean, what a dream.
Yes, and there's AC here, most importantly.
Oh my God, yes.
Well, awesome. So I'd love to get started in understanding really what inspired Amazon to want to get involved in the live shopping ecosystem.
I love this question. The consumer journey has been significantly shifting over the last, I don't even know how many years. And at the same time as this has been happening, there's also been this rise in creators. So how customers discover products, how they research what they want, what they're inspired by, how they make purchase decisions has completely evolved. And what once was very linear has now become this journey that someone can go from inspiration to action to discovery, I don't know, and back and forth in the matter of seconds. It's incredible. And so shopping video of all formats, whether that's short form and pre-recorded or it's live shopping, there's so many different things that you can do, are part of that because video creates this immersive opportunity for storytelling. And that can be anything from a video on a product detail page. We surface video all across our store, but also live shopping because it's this unique format that allows for this connection with the audience between live chat and the interactive features. And it helps customers feel more connected with the talent and learn more about, products and services.
Yeah, absolutely. Amazon Live has also really expanded globally.
Yes, we're very excited about that.
Yeah, so let's talk a little bit more about that. What's going on in Europe? What's going on in Asia? How is Amazon approaching those markets differently based on the local cultures?
It's so important. So first of all, we're really excited by the momentum we're seeing across these markets. So we're now in 7 markets. So our core business is still in the US. And then we have been expanding. Amazon Live is available in India. And last year, Japan. And as of this year, we're now in the UK, Germany, France, Italy, and then we just announced Spain with more coming soon. So with each market that we expand to, understanding the local perspective is so important, with live shopping especially. Mm-hmm. So everybody talks about authenticity. It's such a buzzword, and I'm sorry I have to do it too. But there's kind of nowhere to hide when it's live and when it's longer format. So the customer immediately knows if it feels inauthentic, and understanding and paying attention to the cultural nuances is key as we expand from market to market. So thinking about local talent and who is the audience, everything from where we shoot even, right? A kitchen was gonna look very different in, Italy than it's going to look in New York. And so thinking about all of those details so it comes through to the audience makes a big difference.
It's amazing. And what have been some of the success stories of brands that have really leaned in and adopted Amazon Live as a part of their overall strategy?
Yeah, absolutely. What's cool about live shopping is that it really, on Amazon, is a creative ad format, which means it can serve any objective, right? If you're trying to drive awareness or you're trying to think through creating momentum, there's a variety of ways to use the format. So we recently did a campaign with Maybelline in the UK that I thought was really fun. They had an event and they wanted to do a beauty masterclass looking at different colors of mascaras and how those different colors can make different eye colors pop. Now, I thought this was very cool. It's something I may be the target audience, but it was very cool to be able to think through how that looks. We had hosted talent and the right creators to drive, but also having people within the stream that could show the different eye colors and what that looks like, right? And we created a whole event around it. There was a deal around it. And it's not just about the live shopping as this just bespoke thing. We thought about it from, again, another thing that everybody's talking about, from the full funnel. And Amazon Ads is just very uniquely positioned to offer full funnel campaigns with such a broad canvas. And so it was everything from using the homepage on Amazon.com all the way through, and it drove traffic, and the results were phenomenal. So we saw 58% of the sales that day, but Even more so, there was an 18% higher average order value, than the category benchmarks for Maybelline in that category. So it just shows you the impact, when you think about it, of that deeper storytelling and bringing something to life, because the customer has already signaled that they want to learn more, right? And so now they're digging into the live content to learn more, to interact, and then, hopefully make a purchase decision that they're confident in, that they feel really good about.
And I think you brought up a good point, is that it can drive an ROI, but is it also more of a brand building exercise?
Totally.
And is there a different playbook based on your objectives?
Simple answer, yes.
Yeah. And so something I've played with, we've tested, and I've even spoken to people from your team, and they recommend that having coupons can be a very powerful enabler for Amazon Live.
Yeah.
Is that still a common practice, or are you seeing brands using it more for an educational purpose?
We see it all over the map, so it really depends. We have many examples that I like to say the sweet spot is for driving consideration in a full funnel campaign. So utilizing deals is helpful because you want to drive something that feels exclusive, and you want to drive that FOMO, but it's not required. So if it is a campaign that's more focused on driving awareness, let's say unaided brand awareness, or new to brand customers, or branded search, that's another one that we think about all the time, then what you can do is you think about it's the pairing of the creator. What is the message? How are we talking to the customers wherever they are, right? Meeting them where they are across the entire campaign, and then shifting that perception. We have some really interesting results where, when we've looked at a number of different campaigns, we've seen these types of lift. So we have seen, I believe it's 55% higher branded search rates when a customer has seen an ad and an Amazon Live, right? So thinking about that more upper funnel, a Latitude brand effectiveness study across 4 different campaigns saw 3 times higher unaided brand awareness. It really depends on how you tailor the campaign. It could be very focused on driving those key metrics, and how we would recommend that campaign is put together. That messaging, how we're doing that storytelling, is going to be very different from, call it a new product launch, where you really want to explain and drive discovery, and then maybe start driving some momentum. Very different things.
Yeah. You mentioned Maybelline as a great example, but how do brands that say do between like 2 and 30 million a year on Amazon really make Amazon Live work for them? And how do they incorporate that into their media planning?
So my best advice would be thinking through how you can lean into Amazon Live or live shopping as a format to complement whatever else that you're doing. Any brand that's building, the budgets might be lower, but they are spending on thinking through how they can cut through that to that audience. And that's gotten harder. When I was coming up, not to age myself, it was like 7 or 9, maybe, whatever it was, like touch points that you had to do to break through the noise. Now it's 20, which is just insane to me. I don't know. And so thinking through that cohesive message and how to utilize the formats based off of where they are, and really be intentional about the messaging, I think, is my best advice. And then using live shopping as a complement within that larger campaign. To give you an example of how that can translate to results, and for a smaller business, those results really matter, right? I'm married to an entrepreneur, so I understand this very deeply. And
Cash is king.
You know what? You got to be growing, but it's important, right? Like, and you need to be scrappy, and you need to think everything matters, right? Even in a big business, I think oftentimes people lose sight too much of being scrappy.
So I want to talk about visibility, because Amazon Live can be such a powerful tool, but how do you make sure you really get eyes on the video itself?
So it's really about maximizing that media strategy and thinking through from an end-to-end perspective where you're driving your traffic and utilizing the Amazon Ads canvas. There's so many different tools that are available up and down the funnel, and how you can maximize each piece and where it goes. So driving traffic to the brand store, which we've talked about, is such a valuable asset. And then thinking through talking to customers and meeting them where they are and being intentional about that messaging, right? Whether it's static video, live shopping, whatever it is. And so what we found is that customers who see an ad and then see live shopping versus customers who just see an ad, and this is across a number of campaigns, have a 17 times higher purchase rate.
That's amazing.
Which is incredible, right? And
where else can you find that?
Agreed. And we believe that one of the reasons is because it's not fleeting. So it's very intentional in terms of the storytelling and allowing for that connection between content and commerce and entertainment and engaging customers in a real way. So by meeting them with the content that they need, hopefully, when they want to see it.
And from a tactical perspective, so it lives on the Amazon storefront, but where else can Amazon Lives be found and discovered?
Brand-led live shopping content will live on the brand store, but live shopping content generally can surface across the store. So we have an Amazon.com/live destination. We have a fast channel on Prime Video. You can find it in many places. I often see it on the thank you page after I make my many purchases. It really is about our objective. Ultimately, we're the video shopping team, and we want to make Amazon our customers' most favorite and trusted destination for shoppable videos. Just period, right? And so that's everything from live shopping, but also shoppable videos. Mm-hmm. So pre-recorded shoppable content, that can surface all over the place as well, especially on product detail pages. And product detail pages with a video globally have a 22% more sales than those that don't have a video. I mean, I don't know what other proof I would need to see the impact. And it also makes sense. Because as a customer, sometimes you want to, quote unquote, try before you buy. Also, think about the way you as just a consumer purchase. Mm-hmm. I oftentimes read the best reviews and the worst. I watch the best videos and the worst. I never go to the middle because even the worst, I want to see what feels a little bit different. If I'm buying clothes or I'm buying a backpack, I don't know. Someone else might say, oh, there's not enough pockets. But for me, I don't want that. And so that's still the right product for me, right? You need that variety and that honesty and opinions.
With these different placements, how long does the Amazon Live live there? Is it just while you're live or is there an extended lifetime?
So the Amazon Live will live on the brand store for as long as the brand sees fit.
Hops in.
as long as, the brand can set it up. But on average, we do about 30 days. For live content across the other potential placements, like the thank you page or our Amazon.com/live destination, they can continue to surface. It just depends on the shopping journey ultimately of the customer.
With Amazon Live, let's talk about the creator economy.
Sure.
And are you seeing a lot more brands opt into contracting creators to make their Amazon Live? Is it founder-led? How are the brands that are really successful with Amazon Live going about it?
So you bring up a really good point because, first of all, the importance of creators is, I think we all know how critical it is and how much they help inspire customers because you almost feel like this person. I've always kind of said that creators have this incredible, ability to make a one-to-many relationship feel like one-to-one and feel like you personally know them, which is, I think, very special. Mm-hmm. And so when it comes to finding the right creator, whether it is a brand doing it or we're helping or however, there's so many ways, or an agency, there's so many ways to find the right talent. The first step is understanding that different creators also have different types of expertise. So just because a creator is very strong with static, for example, then someone else might be great at short form content that's pre-recorded. But not everybody can do live. And the reason for that is because it's longer form, right? And first of all, it's live. There's kind of nowhere to hide. And the audience will immediately know if it doesn't feel right? If I were to be talking about, drills it would feel very inauthentic. As much as I would love to be a DIY, I'm like, that's one of the things that I watch on social.
Same.
And I dream that I could do this. I know nothing about it, right? But it would feel really inauthentic. But if I were to talk about, I don't know, we were talking about beauty before. If I were talking about beauty products, it would feel very, very authentic.
So when is your Get Ready With Me being aired at Amazon Live
I
Studios?
am better behind the scenes. We can just be real about that. But I think ultimately it's recognizing and looking for talent based off of their areas of expertise, and then also thinking through their audience, right? Who is their audience? And let me give you an example. We recently did a campaign last year with General Mills for back to school. They came to us and they essentially said, we want to show parents how during this busy back to school season, our suite of products can be really helpful in the morning, in the afternoon, etc. So we paired them with Olympian Shawn Johnson and her husband, another actress, Melissa Fumero. And the reason we chose this talent was because they both have kids. Are they the biggest, creators, or you know what I mean? It's not about that. They resonated with the audience and really, really authentically. And we created a full funnel campaign. So we thought about all of the media assets, everything I was talking to you about for small businesses of all different types. And then of course the lives. And, a friend and I were joking about it because one of the things that was on Shawn Johnson's stream, one of her streams, was she had her kids doing a fruit by the foot challenge, which I just personally thought was really funny. And she was like, I had to go home and buy fruit by the foot for my daughter.
So cute.
But it actually it really resonates. The results were amazing. We saw 25% lift in year-over-year sales. So that is very meaningful. And it's that intentional approach of thinking through everything from top to bottom. But coming back to your question, thinking through the authentic talent and who can speak to your audience in a real way that cuts through that noise, where you can consistently think through the elements. For this, it was the lift in sales, but it was also thinking through driving that consideration and interest and how you're positioning your brand to your customers.
Yeah. And so one question I've always had about Amazon Live is, first of all, Amazon has a gorgeous studio in New York City.
We do.
And and there have been amazing Amazon Live content shot there. But what about the brand that's in Michigan? Mm-hmm. How can they really go about that? I know there's the Amazon Live Creator app.
Yeah.
Is that a great option, or do you recommend that brands lean more into professional shot content? How's the best way to go about it creatively?
Yeah, so we do have the Amazon Live Creator app that any brand can log into, which we're going to continue to lean into and evolve and make better for brands. So I highly recommend leaning in and using the Amazon Creator app, and then it can connect with various tools, to have more quote unquote higher professional tools like OBS and so on and so forth. But do you have to use a studio? No. I mean, we also shoot all over the place. We shoot a bunch of content in our studios, but our team travels all over the place. We have people shooting here in Cannes, right? It's more about what is authentic to your product or your brand, or what's the story. We did something last year with Virgin Voyages, and our crew went on a cruise for a week. I think the production crew was like, this is the best client
Yes,
ever.
more travel clients, please.
Please. So it really can be done anywhere. That's the honest answer, which I think unleashes a huge amount of opportunity and also impact.
And on the topic of impact, let's talk metrics.
Yeah.
Because that's another really important component of this is it can absolutely support brand building. There's that immediate ROI that can be tracked. Mm-hmm. But what are some of the key metrics, and how are brands really measuring the impact of Amazon Live?
Depending on the objective of the campaign, we look at metrics up and down the funnel. So we really look at things like click-through rates, new to brand, branded, or actually, I guess I should have started higher up the funnel. Branded search rates, unaided brand awareness, and so on and so forth. But what we're really excited about, you may have seen, we just announced yesterday, Amazon Live is now being integrated into Amazon Marketing Cloud. So that is going to give brands unprecedented access to understand how content engagement can lead to measurable outcomes, right? And where it fits within the path to purchase, driving consideration, et cetera. So this is a huge step forward that we're very very, very excited about. We're in beta now, but I'm very excited to see where it goes. And in our announcement, we shared one of our beta partners is GE, and they added live shopping, to their larger programmatic buy. And the results have been phenomenal since, as we've been looking at it. They saw a 2.5 times increase to purchase rate and 9.7 times lift to branded search rate. So, that is incredibly powerful. So I cannot wait to see what more we're going to learn and how we're going to empower brands to see the value of shoppable video content.
Well, and where my head is going too is what the omni-channel impact can potentially be.
Yeah.
And now that Amazon Marketing Cloud is involved, we can actually start to track that so long as we're incorporating their own D2C data and so forth. So that's also super exciting.
You and me both.
Okay.
I cannot wait to see. I think the power of video shopping and just live shopping as an ad format, and then the power of video within the shopping journey is really just starting to get unlocked in a meaningful way. And now that brands are starting to recognize that the consumer journey has shifted and is no longer linear, I think we are just at the forefront of starting to see these kinds of impact. I think the thing that makes me most excited is that when I see this kind of impact, and these numbers are incredible, right? 2.5,
phenomenal.
like
yes.
they're really, really good. And so, but it's not, of course I'm very excited for the business value, but this means that we're driving value for customers. When it takes 20 touch points to break through, that's because there's so much noise. And that means that we actually are succeeding at meeting customers where they are in our strategies and how we're thinking about it. That means it's better for the customer.
Are you saying you're customer obsessed?
Kind of. Could I be an Amazonian and not be? Honestly, it's one of my favorite things about working for this company is that it's true, right? Like, I honestly feel that way. Maybe I'm a good fit for Amazon. I hope I'm a good fit for Amazon. But I think that, it translates. We're building something that matters for customers, and then that translates to everybody else.
And then when it comes to more best practices, because I want to make sure listeners also have a playbook that they can take away from this episode, how frequent should Amazon Lives be happening? And then how long should they be? I've seen some 24-hour challenges. How are brands thinking about this? And from your perspective, what is a really good cadence if you're very serious about incorporating Amazon Live into your media planning?
First of all, it depends on what kind of talent you're using, how you're thinking about it, et cetera. I have seen successes with, refreshes on a regular cadence. And then I've seen more evergreen content. It depends on because it's a format, you can use the format however you want. So if you build it to be something that now your customers are going to expect once a week or whatever it is, great. Then they're going to come and you're going to build that behavior for them to tune in. But if you build it as something that's more evergreen, that could also be just as effective because it can last. You just have to be intentional about it. Whatever it is, I would say that is the takeaway because then the content will really shine.
Amazing. And so what's on the horizons? What are you really looking forward to in shoppable video in the next 12 months, in the next 24 months? What's coming?
You may have seen recently that we launched the new Shop the Show capability with Prime Video, where now over 1,300 titles are now shoppable. And what that means, just take a step back and think about ourselves as customers. 94% of consumers have a phone in their hand while they're watching TV.
Guilty.
And probably 30% of them might be shopping or inspired by what they see. Mm-hmm. Shall I say guilty there too?
Very much, yes.
And so we just want to make that experience more frictionless. We want to make it easier for customers to go from inspiration to action. It's really that simple. So I think that that's probably the feature and the capability that I'm most excited about because, again, all roads for me lead back to the customer. And I love any opportunity where we can bring these experiences together and see an area that's that's a scaled behavior, and we can just make it simpler and make it easier.
We're going big screen here.
We're going big screen because at the end of the day, what's cool about working for Amazon Ads is the canvas is incredible, right? Mm-hmm. There's so many different assets and ways to market from top to bottom, and how they can all work together are really, really meaningful.
How does a brand get involved in that? How do you get those placements to then be shoppable? What's that process look like?
Hang tight and you might find out.
Okay. How exciting. Well, Julie, thank you so much for joining the podcast this morning. It's bright and early. There's a lot going on here at
Yes.
Cannes. I had so much fun yesterday playing around with the Amazon Live activation at Amazon Port.
Oh, I'm so happy. Did you see the carousel and how it moves?
Yes, people are sitting in the carousel. They were posing. They were having fun.
One of my colleagues sat down, and for those of you that are listening and can't see it, we have an activation where there's a physical carousel that is built with all different types of backgrounds for mimicking our different production capabilities, and it really moves around, but it moves around very slowly. And so one of my colleagues sat down and she's like, and now I'm going to spin around, and then it was the slowest possible
So
spin.
30 minutes later,
So
she
30
completed her trip.
Exactly. And she came around, but it was brilliant. Yes. No, I love it. It's so smart. And the play off the fact that all Amazon Lives have a shopping carousel attached.
Love it. Well, for listeners, if you aren't already thinking about Amazon Live, it is something that you seriously need to consider, especially considering we have Amazon Prime Day coming up. Always a best practice to incorporate Amazon Live. But also all of those big tentpole events, whether it's back to school, like you mentioned, October Prime Day, holidays, Mother's Day, Father's Day that just passed.
Yeah. Any campaign, right? Evergreen through big event, it just makes sense. It's just another creative ad format to complement what you're doing. Well, thank you so much for having me. It's been a pleasure to talk to you. Thank you so much.
Thank you.